Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild. The moonlight, summer sky, it was the best we ever had. And we'll stay on forever. We'll never have regrets. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild.
Good afternoon. Hopefully we have audio. I'm just checking quickly. Yeah, we do have audio. At least we should have. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's Wednesday and it is 2 p.m. Central European Time. Tried to get on a bit earlier. It did not completely go according to plan because I was busy setting up my new workstation. It took some time. Of course, I also have tea. And just in case I run out of tea, I also have a glass of lemonade. Yeah, so let's see what we can figure out together. I was thinking today that we are to work on the hat that I started on Thursday. I didn't do anything since, so we are just ready to progress on this Dutch-inspired hat. I did, though, just a minute, find my fellow hat here for easier fitting, because I have my hair set up today, and that is not very fitting friendly for bucket hats. So that is the plan. So yeah, I was working with a 4.5mm crochet hook. I am just quickly finding the pattern here on my pattern vault, so to say. I hope everybody is well here this Wednesday afternoon. It's scary. This is the last Wednesday I will be streaming without a job, as we are starting on a job quite soon. So I was using this adult medium. Yes. So we are to make round 13 to 21, which is a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rows, I would say. Let's see. Yeah. But we did start at 11, so we have 11 to 21 actually, which is the same as this. So before I start on round 21, I will have to change color to the blue, because the idea of this is that obviously to make the Dutch flag, we need a red top, we need a white center, and we need a blue bottom. So the bottom part of this bucket hat will be blue. That is the idea I have. If it's working in practicality and how it's looking, I don't know. Here we have the head. As you can see, we are progressing to something that is looking like probably a beanie. Last time I did this beanie, I didn't hook size down when we reached the brim. I am gonna do that with this one. I have a feeling that it will be nicer. So what I'm gonna do is I'll flip to this dual camera view in just a second, and then we will go and crochet together. So, cheers. This is just a classic Earl Grey, Russian Earl Grey, with a flavor of a lemon, Spanish lemons. Makes it a nice, fresh tea. So, I already made 6 rows, and I need a total of 11 to 22. One, two, three. Well, we'll see basically. 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, I need to keep track of this. Yeah, so that's 11 to 15. That's row 16 I did. And then we are on to row 17, if I calculate correct. Good morning, Susan. Welcome to this live. Glad to see you with us. And what I wanted to do was we had to flip this one over. So we have our dual camera view. So you guys can get the pleasure of seeing me working on this. Actually, I could make it nicer. I have my yarn spindle here. I could put my yarn on, because I am able to do it. So why not? I have to say I've really enjoyed working in this Perish yarn. So it's probably not the last time like I've made this order, but I don't think it's the last order I will make containing Perish yarns for any given cotton project that would require a bit more like a DK K weight cotton. It's like a 3 to 4 weight cotton, right? Probably 3 weight cotton. Definitely not the last time. It is very clothing friendly. I would definitely not classify this as a dish cotton, dishcloth cotton. So that's so far. Susan, so what are you up to this morning? Anything interesting? Or just getting up and around, grabbing a cup of coffee, sitting down and grabbing any crafting projects you may be working on? So these rows, they're quite simple. They are right now basically just single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet, skip 2 stitches, single crochet, half double, double in the same stitch. So it is a reasonably simple project, I would say. Also for the pattern, and it makes this very, very lovely pattern in this. Susan says she just finished a shawl and she's considering making a tie for the front. Could be a good idea. Ties can be nice. I'm still working on shawls. I still need to decide on what shawl to make after I finish the Ultimate Sacrifice shawl. Haven't really decided on a shawl yet. I haven't. But I think it's gonna be a red teapot atelier shawl. One of her designs. Ines makes the most gorgeous and intricate shawl designs. I did grab some yarn that I wanted to use for a bag, in case that we finish up this hat. But I also just have the Ultimate Sacrifice. It kind of depends on how much time we have left once this is finished. The goal is to finish this hat today. If we will actually be able to do it is another story. It would be absolutely awesome if we can. But I will be understandable if we cannot. The shawl is for donation for the nursing home. Oh, that's nice. Definitely. I don't know if we actually do donations to nursing homes here, but I like the idea. And I think the elderly people appreciate people still being able to do the craft, because if we look a bit back, it is getting less and less common to be able to craft, I feel, compared to what it used to be. And then you have the few people in between who's really good at crafting, but I find the youth these days are more and more busy on their phones, or tablets, or whatever, online, social media. And don't get me wrong, I have nothing against social media. It's just the interests are less present, if that makes sense. I have to say, I am curious if I will have enough yarn for this. If I calculated the yarn consumption for this bucket hat correct or not. We will have to see. We will have to see. I have a feeling we'll be fine though, but and Nightbot is also in the house. Does Nightbot have anything interesting to say about the weather? I can tell you it's sunny here outside. It is still spring sensation for sure. The spring is definitely present here. Why can't I even see where I started here? I really should have a stitch marker for the start. So The weather for Nijmegen right now is sunny with a temperature of 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which equals 30 degrees Celsius. Wind is blowing from north, and the humidity is 54. If we head to the States, to New Jersey, where it is about 8:15 in the morning, the weather is sunny with a temperature of 33 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's just about 1 degree Celsius. Wind is blowing from west-northwest, and the current humidity is 43. It's also sunny. That's nice. So maybe you do have a little bit of a feeling of spring. I hope. I think everybody deserves some spring. Okay, I am wrong if I say I didn't do anything, because I actually did. I did sew in the ends. We had some ends tails here. So I sew in the yarn tails. I wove them in. I thought that was okay to do without having to do that on live. We will definitely have some more yarn tails today. But I did weave in those ends. And let's face one more thing in regards to those yarn tails. I had this dreaded yarn knot in the red, so I had extra tails to weave in. But I did so, because then it's kind of like they're taken care of. So here we go, without. It was below freezing last night. Oh my goodness. Here it wasn't, but I can say that once the sun is gone, it is still cold. So it's not like oh, a day feels lovely and summery almost, but you can still feel it's spring because it still cools down pretty quickly. But I guess that's just how it is, right? It's a time of the year. April 9th today. So that would be the last for this row. Then I'll need to note down that I finished the row as well. And I do that by, I have this little note block where I just put a line on. That would be 7 or 17, 18, 19, 20. And 21 should then be the last one. I just need to. So we have at least 3 more rounds of white, but I may just need to double check to make sure I actually did the right math, because it's the first time I do this one in these colors, and with this being like a full color setup, because normally I've done the striped versions. So I just need to make sure that that part is set up correctly. And it's a bit odd actually, because I'm looking at the yarns I'm using and I'm like concluding that I'm not even finishing up the skeins. So that part is a bit sad, because it would be great to finish up some skeins, but on the other hand, not using as much as anticipation isn't too bad either, I guess. Definitely have some project plans laying. So we have, that's the start of the row. I have inserted the stitch marker just for my own convenience, and then it's a question of working around. I think I need another 3 rounds of this white before we have to change color to blue. And it is this gorgeous sapphire blue that we will change to. Let's see if I can just put it like here, maybe. Don't know if you can actually see it enough. I'll check. Yeah, you can. Let's stay there to inspire us about the color we eventually will change into. It does make me a little bit wondering, like you could do this for Germany as well, because it's also a flag just made of stripes. So any flag just made of stripes you could technically easily use for this pattern as long as they're horizontal. And I don't know if we have anyone else just lurking with us right now. Feel free to say hello to us. We always love meeting new people. Do let us know what you're working on if you're working on anything. And if you just want to hang out, grab a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, or just anything to drink. Sit down and hang out with us for a bit. Good morning, Gwen. I hope you had a great night and a great sleep. Oh, that was wrong. That should have been a double crochet, not a half double. Sometimes I do it a little bit too fast. Single, half double, double, skip 2, single, double, half double, skip 2, etc. It is, in that sense, very simple repeats. Once you get into the flow of it, it's reasonably quick to do also. I haven't really progressed on the web store part of things because I've been busy handling a few other things I had to do related to getting a new job, preparing the workstation, and time flies basically. Maybe I'll have some time this weekend. I did originally have some plans for Sunday, but those got cancelled. And I do not mind, to be honest. I'm kind of happy that I don't need to do anything on Sunday. So that is definitely nice. Let's see, 2. I stopped halfway setting up my new workstation because I was supposed to follow a guide where I didn't have access to the files, so I had to request access. I'm kind of waiting on that access. That said, I'm not sure if I will. Maybe I'll do it tonight. Depends, not completely sure. Because I do have a few other things on tonight's schedule as well. Have a small competition with my team, so I'll have to do that tonight. And luckily it's not that far from home. Sometimes we have to drive an hour to get there. This one is just 15 minutes, which is like the closest of them all, which I'm really happy about now when it has to be. The last one this year I won't be able to do because I will be in Denmark on that. Which had been close as well because it's on home turf, but that is just what it is. 1, 2. It can't always be perfect and nice. But I think this is going nice and smooth, considering how quickly I get around here. I am very optimistic for finishing up this today. Then the real question will be, what are we gonna do next? But it's not gonna be a bucket hat. Not this time around. So that was this round complete. We are at 18. We need to do 19, 20. And then 21 definitely needs to be the color change if I'm calculating this correct. But first we need to slip stitch into the previous row. We'll chain one and we'll flip the work around. And then we'll do the single crochet in the last double crochet I did. Half double and a double. Then, just for my own convenience sake, I'll insert the stitch marker at the very first stitch of the row. And you know, I can see when that is, but I can then easily see how far I've gotten around. So it's just really a quick way to see it and a convenience thing, not necessarily because I can't do it without. So yeah, single, half double, double, single, half double, double. Every time we do a clutch of that, we skip two. Such a nice and simple, mindless, straightforward pattern, one would say. I'm realizing how quickly time flies. Oh, that was wrong. That should have been a double. Sometimes it's just a little bit too quick. I also really desperately wanted to get some buttons done, but I really haven't had time to sit down and do it. Or well, I guess I haven't taken the time to sit down and do it. Is a more fair thing to say. But I have a few other things I'm also working on, which I really need to get settled as well before I go to Denmark in a week and a half. 2 weeks. 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. 2.5 weeks. Yeah. So I will have 2 full work weeks getting used to my new job before traveling to Denmark. And then when I'm in Denmark, I will have to work from my parents' place. I'll also bring some projects to work on with me to Denmark, but I don't actually know how much time I practically will have to do things. That will also depend on my mother's well-being and how many appointments there are and so on. Because obviously I need to work some of the time, because now I get paid to do so. I don't get paid to craft. Would be nice though. Okay, that's a lie. I do get a little bit commissions from YouTube, but trust me, that is not where you want to make your living unless it would be a lot more busy, but it's not. So, and that was a double, skip 2. Oops. I think I have this yarn split. There it is. And it goes a little bit too quick. It can want to split because it's not tightly wound together, but it is a spun yarn. Very similar to the 8/8 cottons from Hobby or Linda Hobby. And the 8/8 cottons is a way of classifying cotton weight in the sense of yarn weight for cotton. And it's just basically saying an 8/8 cotton is having 8 threads spun together. And if it's half the thickness, it would be a 4/8 or 8/4. So that only 4 of the 8 possible strands would be in the yarn. Don't forget to drink also. I'm quite happy with my tea today. It does somehow feel a bit chilly today. It doesn't feel as warm as it sometimes could be. Another thing I'm realizing is now with my new workstation and everything, is that I could technically, on good weather days, just grab the laptop and go outside on my terrace and work from there. Now that is kind of nice idea. Though I would have to put down the sunscreen because else I wouldn't be able to see anything, I think. I wasn't as easy movable with my old job. I was much more stuck back then. So once this one is done, we are at round 19. And then we need to go one round back as round 20. And then I think we actually need to change color. Yeah. Could say hello to the mannequin head before changing color as well, just to see where we are at. But honestly, I'm more or less just following the progress here. One last cluster left in this round, and then the double to finish the round. Time to slip stitch into the first stitch of the previous round, chain 1, turn the work, and work in a single crochet in that last double crochet you did, then the half double and a double for the first cluster. Oh no, I'm going to have to move you guys a bit because, sorry. A stitch marker had disappeared underneath my computer. There you are. If I'm right, we should be heading out on the last row of whites right now. And I hope that's true because we are getting less white on this. So I just need to put a line. I just forgot. We are at row 19. And given the fact that I did change to white after the first row of this repeat in red, then I am also wanting to keep it similar for the blue, that I do want to make a blue repeating row of this before going into the brim. That is the choice I made. I could also probably have done it all white if I really wanted to. But I'm not sure if maybe that would have required more yarn. I don't know. I'll be honest and say I didn't think too much about it. Looking at the time right now, I think we'll definitely finish up this bucket hat today before the end of the stream. And then we can think about what to work on next. Always be something. I did see today an absolutely gorgeous photo of like a granny square type sweater, but it was like triangle further down. It looked so gorgeous. That is definitely something I'd like to attempt making at some stage. That would be quite nice, I think. Single, half double, double. When we get to the brim, it's going to be a bunch of half doubles. With the exception of the last two rounds, which is like single crochets and then it's slip stitches around to make this nice edge. But funnily enough, I am still sort of semi-challenged when I'm doing the simple repeat, because every time I need to do the doubles, I sometimes do tend to want to do two half doubles, because doing the single crochets and the half doubles, I pull through all of the loops when I do that last pull through, where the half doubles you have to pull through twice, right? So it almost gets into the habits of wanting to just pull that the first pull through of the half double completely, all of them. But I need to remind myself not to do that. And now when we talk about it, it goes a bit easier. Talking about my mistakes, what the human me can do. I also watered my begonias yesterday in the hope that they will sprout eventually. That would be so nice. My tulips are standing really pretty in the garden now. So yeah, it is definitely spring here. There's no doubt in that. One, two, three. Skip 2. Single, half double, double, skip 2, single, half double, double. So straightforward. If you have any questions or the like, you're always absolutely welcome to ask them. I am happy to answer when able. One, two. Three, one, two. Another thing I need to decide on is if. So I am working on this web shop and setting that up. Do I want to like do drops, or do I want to just update it as I have projects finished and in stock? I'm not really sure if there's a preference here. That was this round. Now, that was round 20. I just need to check that round 21. What happens in round 22? Because round 21 I need to turn the work, and then I'll work on the right side. And it says make sure you're working on the right side after round 21. Round 22, half double crochet front loop in the first 8, and then 2 in the next, etc. So we are increasing, but in front loops. So yeah, I would say we need to switch to blue, actually. And then I am not sure how did I order 2 blues back then, just in case I don't have enough. I would be really sad if I run out of yarn in this coincidence, but let's see if I can actually see it. I should be able to find my order, and I don't remember on top of my mind if I got 2 of these gorgeous blues. I might have, that would be logic, but it could also be I just have the single. Not that blue. I only bought 1. I only bought 1. Will I have enough yarn? Yeah, I should have, probably. I think I might have. Anyhow, that means that we have to cut this white, which I did get 2 of, coincidentally enough, but we cut off the whites. Not much left, as you can see. Almost feels like I still have the label because it's not finished, so I can't count it as a finished one, but I have the feeling there's like, what, 10 grams left. Dang it. King's Blue. This one is named King's Blue. For those that's curious, this drops yarn is 100% cotton. It is recommending a 5mm needle or hook. I'm using a 4.5. 50 grams to 1.75 ounces to 75 meters or 82 yards. That is pretty much what you have going on here. Yeah, there we go. And we also need to change the working row round. So the real question here is, ideally I should do like this for the slip stitch. Yes, and then I'll take this one in to turn the row with. Let's see what the weather is in Arizona. Weather is in Arizona is clear with a temperature of 74 degrees Fahrenheit. No, yeah, 47, sorry. 47 degrees Fahrenheit or 8 degrees Celsius. The wind is blowing from north-northeast and the current humidity is 35. And I just need to keep track of this for a moment. Half double and double. Awesome. And what I also need to keep track of is that one. Definitely need to weave in ends. Why are they on the wrong side? Well, I'll weave them in on the other side when I'm done. Oh, it's not Arizona, it's Arkansas. Definitely. I don't know why it's giving you weather for Arizona. That is weird. Maybe we should really type it out loud. No, Nightbot is just messed up. It's just standard for everyone. It should be. It's not like mine does different than other Nightbots. It's just the same Nightbot. So I think Nightbot is the one that's messed up. The weather for Arkansas, it's sunny, just like here in New Jersey. It's all lovely and sun. Spring is coming. It's 44 degrees Fahrenheit or 7 degrees Celsius. Wind is blowing from south-southeast at 4 miles per hour. Current humidity is 100. How can the current humidity be 100 and sunny? That must be like humid warm, even though it's not warm, or it just rained. Okay, I'll be honest and say I am not sure if I have enough blue. So I hope I don't run out of blue, because that would be kind of sad if I do. And if I do, I guess that's just how it's gonna be. But I should theoretically have enough. We will have to see. It's been raining hard for the last 4 days. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That would be the reason that it's humid. At least it's sunny now, so hopefully spring is now finally there. That would be nice. Like, I can't even believe it's Easter soon either. It's like the Easter week starts on Sunday, and the real Easter is like next week. Bit Thursday, Good Friday. It's crazy how quickly it's gone. And Easter is even late this year, I know, but it just feels like time has been flying this year. Supposedly you had your last frost. I hope that's true. I wish everybody a nice summer in any case, and some good spring. You know, after some winter, you're just kind of done with it, right? um, I'm happy it started to get nice. I spent some time yesterday outdoor, crocheting actually, um, and that was nice. I was just sitting down, not even having the sunscreen down. I was just sitting down, enjoying sun without it being too warm. It was so nice. We are trying to get our garden growing and can't get the plants out of the greenhouse for the weather. Yeah, no, it needs to be not too cold, not too wet, because then they'll drown. Do you do like veggies and all that stuff for your garden, or is it just more like a flowering greenhouse you have? Like I used to have some tomato plants on my terrace, but I can't. Well, I can, but my partner doesn't eat them, and I'm not sure I can convince him to water them when I'm not home. So this year for tomatoes will definitely not be a good plan. I may try next year, depending on. But if I'm gone for like a week, I'm not sure if the tomatoes will have a good time. I did notice a sort of planting set where I could like have it with a storage of water below, which I am definitely contemplating. For a cup of tomatoes, that could be nice. Just the cherry tomatoes type, right? I have some that's quite nice to eat. Wedges and flowers. Flowers are to help control with pests. Oh yeah, because there are some flowers that's really good depending on the type of insects that you want to deter, right? Last week we had so many butterflies sitting in our plum tree. It was flowering. So theoretically I should have lots of plums this autumn. Or in August. They usually ripe in August. We'll have to see. I have a green Rennet Claude plum tree, so the plums are all green. Debating to put up bees to help with pollinating. That's not a bad idea. And the benefit also of bees is you could maybe share the honey a bit. I would just, in that case, recommend a course in beekeeping. One of my friends does it. He seems to enjoy it quite a bit. Actually, I have multiple people. I know multiple people doing it. They have devices you can put in your plants that help slow water them when you're away. Yeah, that is probably what I need to consider. It's just not been a priority of mine, to be honest. Because I know that I'm. The last couple of years, I've not been as busy with it as I used to before. And the pot that I used to have my tomatoes in, they are. It's occupied by an olive tree that I received as a present. So so I would need a different. But I was debating on getting one with an inbuilt slow watering system that I could maybe option for tomato plants. But yeah, so my green Renaclaude, it took me a long time to realize that green Renaclaude means that, so in the beginning when I just had moved here, I knew that we had this plum tree, and I was actually starting to complain that it was a bad tree. It was not a good tree because it got plums and then the plums dropped from the tree before they were ripe. They're still green and they all dropped on the ground. So I just gotten used to it was a bad tree. Why else would it drop the plums before they got ripe on the ground? And then I asked a good friend of mine who apparently is a tree specialist, and he's like, but Stine, that is a green Renaclaude plum tree you have. The plums do not need to get purple or red or whatnot or yellow. They always remain green. And the next time that it flowered and the plums were on there and we got closer to harvest, I took a plum off that was still green and I tasted it, and yes, it was ripe. So yeah, it doesn't change color when they ripe. You can find buckets pretty cheap and they work great. Yeah, I have some buckets too, actually. I guess it's more the effort of planting and maintaining and all that stuff. And what I really should do is I should get some new strawberries, because, or I should take seedlings once they start run out. Those I have, because I need to renew them. I have like the stacking system where I have strawberries planted in. And we are almost around with round 21. There we go. You've never seen green Renaclaude? Green Renaclaude is it's a French plum, I would say. What we could do, just a quickie, is, let's see, flop over here and share. These are my plums. That's my plum tree. They look exactly like this. So obviously when I give them a look, I think that they're not ripe, but they are. They're called green gauges, apparently also. Considered one of the more finest desert plums. I would have thought this was a green Renaclaude, but okay, there we go. But that is my plum tree, and it is exactly how it looks right now with these flowers here. It's gorgeous. For those curious. And they are tasty enough. I've made jam of it also successfully. I would then add some cinnamon to the jam just for a little bit extra cinnamon taste. Good morning, oddballs. She says she planted a Queen of Hearts plum tree last year, but now we'll probably move before you get any plums from it. Well, that's kind of sad, actually. I'd say. That's kind of sad. I would say that you deserved at least to taste how they are, but yeah, no. And that's just how things go sometimes. So, now I need to check what we are doing. We finished round 21. Now we're about to start round 22, and we need to chain one And then we need to do half double crochet front loop in the first 8 stitches, then 2 half double crochets front loop in the next. Repeat until the very end, and you have 6 stitches left. Because there's lots of room in here. Not really, but will do. And then when I'm done with this row of a front post, half double crochet front loop onlys, I will change the hook and size down to the 4mm hook. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just again starting with a stitch marker. I'm not really happy with my tails here, but I am gonna tie a little knot on them just to keep track. We'll sew in ends a bit later. You'll plant a new 3 at the new property. Good idea. Good idea. 5, 6, 7, 8. Should be 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah. And then I need to do 2 in the next, and then 8 again, and then 2, and then 8, and then 2. We're going to plant a ton of trees all the way around the perimeter of the new property this year. It's just over 3 acres, so it's a lot of trees. Oh goodness, yeah, that is a lot. But you really have the opportunity to get completely self-sufficient in fruit trees if you just plant fruit trees, different kinds like apples and so on. Five. Ooh, come on. 6, 7, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. So that's a good idea. Oddballs, if you're looking for apple trees, I will warmly recommend the type of Elstar. Elstar is a Dutch type of apple, originated not too far from here, and they are good just for eating, but they're also fine for, they're basically fine for anything. A good, really nice all-round apple. Let me type you the name, just in case you're looking for something specific. I'll warmly recommend this type of apple. 4, 6, 8. Need to do 2 half doubles in the same stitch. Maybe you can get seeds from your current tree to replant at your new home. Yeah, fruit trees is a bit more difficult to replant actually though, because it requires the fruit first, unless you take a piece of a branch and put it on a different tree to like rebranch it or repot it. Not sure what it's called in English, but the thing is, if you just take a seed from a tree, if it's not pollinated by the same type of tree, so for example, if we take apples, then you risk it's not being what you think. So if you get a seed from an apple that you ate from the supermarket, and that seed or the apple was pollinated by a different type of tree, so like let's say you have a pink lady, but it gets pollinated by a golden delicious, then you will get a hybrid mix in that tree that grows up. If that makes any remote sense to you. Like, so there is a risk doing that. And I actually have a project standing in my garden, which I planted during COVID times. I got a pink lady apple from a supermarket, which I ate, and I tend to like slice them out in small boats. And inside there was a seed that was actually already sprouting. So I planted it with some soil on top, and it started growing. And I was growing it indoor for the winter. It was like in November I planted it, and it's right now actually standing in my garden, being about 2 meters tall. Um, but it will probably take another 2 years before it actually produces any apples. And what I said to my partner is, if I end up not liking the apples, we cut down the tree again. But it's worth a try. 2, 4, 6, 8. I have a good land apple tree right now. They grow well here and are delicious for everything. Oh, that's nice. It would be easier to get a new tree than seed. They aren't expensive, definitely. I just checked the price for green plums, £3 for 70. What? Jesus. On the other hand, right now I'm not happy with this crazy yellow man, who some people decided to vote for back in November, because my stocks look bad. Like, that tariff stuff he's doing is definitely having an impact. We are heading into recession, and the dude is not gonna admit it. Recession will go away as soon as he removes those tariffs he liked to impose on everything. 4. I need 4 more. Yeah, plum trees can be self-pollinating. Ours are 2, I believe. But not all trees are, and that is worth to keep in mind. I do believe it's like almonds needs to have one male and a female flower bud to be able to actually pollinate. 2, 4, 6, 8. And yeah, everybody's stocks are terrible. Yep. And it's only due to that yellow-haired angry man who throws terrorists around every damn corner. If he would just stop doing that, the world would look to be a lot better instantly. I can tell you for sure. Four. We need 4 more. Yeah, that's worth to keep in mind too. If you have a harsh climate, you need to have some hardy plants too that doesn't mind a bit of a frost. So you can't do Pink Lady, for example. Pink Lady for me is also a gamble. I might just be able to do it, but it could also be that it's not gonna work out. But we will see. It's getting a try. The olive tree, I'm not expecting to get olives from, which is not a problem because I don't like olives. But we got it as a present, so it's just nice to have. And I do like the look of an olive tree. I have to say that they do look nice. But I don't plan to harvest and eat them. Two, 3, 4, 5. Oh, come on. Don't split on me. 6, 7, 8. And then we'll do 2 half doubles. The parameter trees will likely be all pines of some variety. Yeah, and pines are not too bad either when if you want something to break the wind down a bit, that it's gonna be less windy. You could also consider, I don't know what they are called in English. I would say in Danish, charm. That would be really good if you want to keep animals out, I guess, because they have some nasty pointy things, but they grow quite dense as well, or can grow quite dense. What are they called? I need to find the translate because I don't know what they're called in English. But in Danish they are named chan. I don't even know what they're called in Swedish or sorry in Dutch. Thorn, like thorn bushes, thorns. Yeah, good for privacy too. Definitely. Could also consider if you want a bit of a shrub. You could consider planting blackberries, maybe. Would they work in your climate? That can grow pretty dense too and give some nice fruit. Ah, okay. Oh, I'd suggest some blackberries in between then. That can also go a bit dense if you want something not just pines. And there's nothing better than you could like get fresh blackberries and you could put them in pies, you can make jam. And blackberry is also nice in jam if you combine them with all other types of fruit, strawberries, raspberries. Like, yeah, give a good first fruit jam mix if you're into making your own jams. They're also good combined with pancakes, right? So I'd suggest some blackberries on top. That's what I would do if I had so much land to do with whatever I wanted. Of course, the downside with blackberries is that they do need to be kept down a bit or they will take over. But if you have machinery for it, it's not an issue, it's easy. And your man sounds like a guy that would have all the right equipment for things, if I recall right. But I need tall trees that will keep its greenery all winter to block wind and snow. Yeah. Have some Nanking cherries here. I'll be planting more at the new place. We have all the machines we would ever need. Yeah, that's my point. I believe he's a contractor or something along those lines, right? So I thought, well, he would probably also have machines for that. So I definitely suggest you to plant some blackberries in between. And we are getting closer. Meanwhile, it is 3:15 p.m. here in the Netherlands, which makes it 9:15 a.m. in Eastern US. And a bit later for those that's living a few further states to the west. Or earlier, actually. You get my point. It's later in the day for me. And we need 2 more. 4, 6, 8. He installs in ground fiber optic lines. Yep, they're important. He used to do water and sewer lines. Ah, yes. We're almost round here with all the stitches we would ever need. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then we'll need to do the last increase. And then we just need to do half doubles front loop only for the last few. Gwen says she's working on a paw print blanket. Oh, that's nice. I've seen quite a few of these paw print blankets, and I'm like almost tempted to make them. And I'm like, nope, no, 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 no. I already have one blanket going, which is not getting as much love as I should give it. So I really shouldn't start any more blanket projects right now. I also want to make my Christmas star blanket for putting under the Christmas tree, but I cannot make myself start that one yet. I also first need it not this Christmas, but in a year and a half. So I have time. I do have time. Awesome. This matches all the way around. So what I can do now is I change from a 4.5mm to my 4mm hook. Ta-ta. And what we are doing now is I need to complete the whole round with chain 1, half double crochet in each stitch. And I hook sides down because that is what the pattern says. I do use slightly bigger hook than the pattern says, but that is because my tension is tighter. And I'm using a different yarn also. I can't crochet today. I need to give my sore wrist a break. So my doodah blanket will taunt me all day. I'm sorry to hear that about your wrists. I hope it will be better soon. I definitely do hope that for you. So what we have now is a full round of just half double crochets. So that should be very easy. So the repeats of the blanket is quite easy, Gwen, if I understand you correct. The thing is, I don't know what to do with a paw printed blanket right now. So I guess that's also one of the reasons to hold a bit back. When I do blankets, I'd like to have like a clear purpose for them, because obviously I could make all the blankets I wanted to, but if I don't have an end purpose, it is a lot of work. I respect all the work people put into those blankets. I know Becco de Crochet at some stage she did those auctions, right, for good causes. But I do believe she also stopped doing them because of all the work it involves to actually run those. Abba says, after I'm done with this blanket, I want to start the mosaic crochet blanket for my son-in-law. It's a Celtic knot design since she's half Irish. That's a great idea. I just started on the well, I decided to make the fleur because I thought it was a gorgeous design. But I have to say it is like I've been working on it for a year and like 16 months now. And I'm like, what? Not even half done or close to half done. The time it takes is quite an investment, and it's actually sad that I put it all the way out there. And I need to take time to finish that off before I even consider starting a new blanket. So I should do that before I do my Christmas tree blanket, which I have the yarns for. I have some very Christmas green sparkly yarns and some very red Christmas tree sparkly yarns, which I want to use for it. And I think I'll probably even have yarns over when I'm done, but that is a whole other story. I won't use that yarn before or for anything else until I have done that Christmas tree. My Fleur inspired you. Fleur is gorgeous. She really, Anke Wintermans, who's a Dutch designer, she really makes some very gorgeous mosaic blankets. And it's not that difficult. Anke does also link to resources for learning mosaic crochet in her patterns. They are all to be found on Ravelry. And she has really lots of them. She has some where I'm like, I want to do that too. You have an entire rainbow of ice yarns anti-pilling baby that you want to use up. I want to buy yarn again, but I really shouldn't. I was shortly on Ice Yarn's website yesterday and I was like, oh, I need this, and I need this, and I need this, and I need this. And I'm like, oh, you do not need anything right now. At all. We are just doing half doubles, and I think next row I'll have to increase actually. You got almost every available color plus a bunch of black. Oh, that sounds like it could be really nice. I have some rainbow colored yarns too that I want to use up one day. Gotta start somewhere. Abba says, I don't normally buy all of the colors of anything, but this time I did. I don't know why. Well, I tend to get lots of different colors because I'm a collector in the heart. Like, I have lots of different colors of yarn, especially if you look at my cakes. I like to have one of each, but not all yarn. I just don't have room to have one of each of all yarns, I guess. And of course, eventually I have to use it. So my conclusion is with some of the yarns I'm having now, is that it could be that I'll end up making some sort of scrap project or something like that. That could be an option. That could definitely be an option. Some of the yarns that I used for crocheting some hats this winter, where I didn't finish them all, I know I have more of the yarn here and there. I just took the scraps of those and put in a bag, so I could just make a straight, simple forward scrap project one day. Unique scrap end hat beanie. Could maybe be nice. Rather than throwing them out. I have lots of cakes, all different colors there, but I need to get this anti-pilling yarn out of my cube so I have room for more Black Friday yarn sales later this year. Oh, yeah, Oh, and Ice Yarn's Black Friday sales have those great discount codes. I get all like, I want to, but I know it's not clever to do so, so I tend to not do so, if that makes sense. Also because I just don't have room for it. And honestly, I'm afraid my partner is right in some aspect. I need to clear out some of all the yarns I have, so I just need to get on doing that. So that was a round of, what would this be? Round 23. Then we need to slip stitch and then chain 1, half double crochet in the first 9 stitches and then 2 half doubles in the next, all the way around. But the last 6 stitches is just going to be half doubles. No crazy fancy things there. Your husband stopped commenting about your yarn stash. Well, the problem is when my yarn stash takes over too much space and we don't really have room for other things, that is when it's an issue. And it is. I'm admitting my fault. I have too much yarn. I know it. I know it. I just know it. So what I want to do is actually set in some stitch markers so I don't need to do all this counting while crocheting. Just to keep my sanity. Well, why do all these stitch markers are closed on one another? I don't know. Did I bring them somewhere? Who knows? So 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. And every place where I place a stitch marker, we have the increase. So we have 9 an increase. So yeah, 2, 8, 9 an increase. 2, 4, 6, 8 increase. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 increase. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 increase. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. That's also why I could always consider selling my yarn, I guess, just to make room for buying new. 2, 4, 6, 8. But just doesn't sound like a good deal. I think. Not sounding like the best deal too. Because the thing is, people don't want to pay more unless you have something limited edition. And my stash has really taken overhand. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. It's kind of bad. I can fill my whole hallway with yarn on the first floor. That is about how bad it is. So I need to have room for normal stuff, not just yarn. I got 2 cloud cakes from the clearance shelf at Michael's last week. I want to make a t-shirt sweater for either me or my daughter with it. Yeah, so it's not bad to once in a while get some yarn and so on. I don't see an issue with that. It's just overall the stash should generally decrease, which is why I have this decrease my stash project, which worked amazing until last month. That said, I have not bought any yarns in April yet. Also, the new anniversary case should be coming out in August, and I will likely get a couple. And they're huge. I've seen them, definitely. So you need to make room for it. So you need to use up stuff. That is kind of also my rule, right? I need to overall decrease, but generally by using up stuff. I could consider now when I am getting up the web shop up and running, I could always consider putting up some yarn on that web shop and say, hey, we could sell some of this yarn to make room. That is definitely a thought that I'm considering too. But I'm not really sure if that's the idea of things. Mystery boxes. But I don't think people would pay for the shipping compared to the value of the yarn. They might get better deals elsewhere. They have some clear bags that hang on the back of your door for storing yarn. Great at saving space. Yeah. Well, I am boxing mine. They are in boxes, stacked. Stacked in boxes, actually. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I need to do 2. But the problem is they're not just stacked at one place. They're stacked at multiple places at different locations where there are room to stack. And generally, I've stopped trying to count how much yarn I have because the efforts of locking all that is daunting to me. And that is why I decided to decrease my stash by just counting the yarn I spend versus the yarn I put in. And the goal is to have less yarn at the end of the year. And to do that, I definitely do have a bit of work to get done. That is a reality. That is a reality. But yeah, my yarn is a lot of boxes. If you decide to sell cakes in mystery boxes, I would buy one, even with shipping costs. Okay. It could be. could be that I would decide to sell cakes. I might consider. Also, lately I've seen some gorgeous handmade cakes in Germany where I'm like, I want this yarn, please. But I haven't bought it because I don't have room. So right now I just save all these links to these web shops where I'm like, oh, that's gorgeous yarn, that's gorgeous yarn. Yeah, I want to get yarn from there one day. So I have like a large list of web shops for yarns that I want to get. Susan tells me, hey, shop your stash and forget about buying yarn. Yeah, I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best. That is genuine. Trying my best. I think I've overall done pretty okay. There is a few I may have to get, and that's okay if it comes to that. As I said, I got some of these yarns intentionally to make these hats, so that is what I'm doing right now. And then I will have to see if it's actually gonna bring up anything. If the investment has been worth it. But so far we are cracking on with this one. On the brim. And it looks really Dutchy to me. So that is good. The next question is if there's actually Dutch people who could be interested in it. That is the moment where I may consider putting it on the Facebook marketplace rather than waiting for the web shop to get up, because King's Day is in 2 weeks' time, 2.5 weeks' time. People want it before then, and I'm not sure if I'll have my web shop ready before then. Hello and good morning to you, Sarah. Wonderful to see you. We can only make things so fast. We all need to work on less shopping and more stitching. Shopping is a fast and easy. Well, valid. And my ideas and my challenge is then I get an idea and I buy all the yarns before, like, so quickly, and then yeah, it gets into the pile because I have this idea. The benefit, of course, is that hats aren't the ones that takes longest to make, so bucket hats is definitely gonna be a thing for me the coming period of time. I have a few different patterns I want to test out too, amongst things. Which I think it's valid to mention, so to say. But I did already finish up a couple of skeins this month without buying any. So far, April is decreasing my stash. That doesn't look nice. Yarn split. Let's try again. Fixed. Sarah says, Susan, I just organized my yarn and found so much I forgot about. I was like shopping. Yeah, so that's why I really liked my series last year when I went through all my yarns. It really felt like shopping, right? Because I was like, yay. Oh no. I did something again here. Yarn split. Don't split on me. 2, 4. Let's try again. 4, 6. And I do believe I need to have the last 6 stitches normally, so I need to have, yes, I need to have a double increase here. Apple says she also organized her yarn recently as well. I'll be doing it again when it moves into the new yarn room next week. I'm just jealous you have a yarn room. Maybe if I had a yarn room, I would have a better time controlling my needs, my desire to shop. I'm seriously scared for my first visit to hobby as how much yarn I'll end up getting. I guess the good thing is if I know there's a limitation, then it's easier, right? Like I know that I don't have any projects or something like that. So right now it has a teeny yarn room, but I'll get a huge room just in the process of painting it before moving the yarn. I'm jealous. I have 2 flat bedding knitting machines that are sitting in my living rooms because they have nowhere else to live. But the way they're sitting, I can't use them. Yeah, okay, that's not really helpful either, I guess. I was thinking about getting a knitting machine. I have some yarns I'm sure could be absolutely great for knitting machines. So let's see, that was round 24. And 25 is a full round of just half double crochets in each stitch. So chain 1 and then half double crochets. Easy. I like easy. Well, who doesn't? But the problem is the following rows we need to do a few more increases. But overall, we only have 2 more rounds with increases. Not too bad. And it is 3:45 p.m. here, so I do need to get some stitching done if I want to have this one finished today. It's gonna be darn close though. And if I don't manage it on this stream, I think I will take the liberty of finishing it off camera because it's close. But we still have an hour to go at least, an hour and 15 minutes on stream, so it's still possible to get it done. All depends on how many distractions I have, I guess. I'm going to get a height adjustable table for them to fit in the room. That is a great idea. It's also good for your back, right? Because you can both sit and stand and whatever you need, but also, I guess, for the panels, they have more room. Oh my God, you get into hobby in person. This is why my man handles the money. We'd be homeless sleeping on a bed of yarn in the equinox. um, So we have a different setup financially. Um, and if you're one of those avid listeners of like David Ramsey show and so on, the Ramsey show, I guess, to get control of financial support and all that stuff, but that's a detail. They would say that we are not interested in one another and we shouldn't, blah, blah, blah. But so I've been with my partner for 17 years almost. In a week, we have 17 years anniversary. And um, and we have never had shared accounts. Um, it's been his money of my money, and we just share paying for things. Like it's my responsibility to pay for groceries, toilet paper, cleaning items, like stuff you buy in the grocery store, basically. That is my responsibility and my financial burden of our relationship. The home is his. He pays for the mortgage, he pays for water, power, internet, utilities. Of course, that also means in case that he falls away, I have basically nothing. He needs to make we need to probably make testaments. As I say, we've been together for so long that if I pass away, he's fine. I'm fine with him getting my stuff, and he's fine with me getting his stuff. But we still have it split like this. One of the reasons is the fact that I, for many years, didn't have a very high income due to my sports, traveling a lot around. And the thing is, that means that I just need to make sure I have enough money to pay for that's like the things that I am obligatory to pay for. And everything else is that every other cash there is our fun money. I can do with it what I want, or we can do with it what we want, so to say. So if I say, okay, I'll pay for us to go on vacation, we'll do that, and whatnot. And that, of course, is also one of the reasons that I don't need to work full time. And I am really looking forward to start my new job because I can see on my bank account that it's been emptying slowly. Though not as quick as I had estimated it to do. So I guess there is some positive aspects. Now, when we are talking about money, we are well into the second quarter, which reminds me, I need to do my valued add taxes with the government for my business, which I'm definitely not in the mood to do, but I should get them done. I've been a stay-at-home mom for over 20 years, so that's my job. My hobby's job is to earn the money. Yeah, kind of staying at home also for some of the time, but all my travels has just been, yeah, the money I earn is my money, which is kind of nice, I guess. I do use a reasonable size of my money, amount of my money to invest. Right now, I'm not too happy about the Angry Yellow Man because my stocks are doing shit. But long term, I should be better off. Oh, I can barely handle having the hobby app. Well, yeah. Someone took it upon themselves to drain my account. They were nice enough to leave her $9. Oh no! Sarah stays at home and keeps track of my man's schedule and jobs. That's what he does, who paid and who needs to, which is totally fine as well. My partner also has his own business next to it. I just like having my own things. my own money. But it also means that I buy him presents and he buy me presents once in a while, you know, like whatever he feels like. So, you know, I guess we're just fine doing it like this. I also don't like the need to ask or say, hey, is it okay I spent money on this? I don't need to do that with our system, if that makes sense. So that is a nice benefit of just having your own. I think this is looking nice, huh? See the red, white, blue. Sometimes I'm wondering if I should have done one more row on the center, but I think it's nice like this. Was it a bank that got hacked? Could also be somebody forgot. Our company is too big for me to do the bookwork anymore. I used to. Now we have an office bookkeeper, an outside accountant. Yeah. Well, I'm the one that does all my own bookkeeping because it's cheaper, and I don't make a lot in my business. It's just a small, tiny one. So at the end of this row, we need to increase again the following row, which means I better do some stitch counting. And given how it worked just before, I think I'll do the same system that worked nicely. Then I don't need to do the counting while I actually do the stitching. I can just do them all stitch for stitch, if that makes sense. We are getting pretty close here. Yeah, the hat is getting closer to being finished, but we do have a few more rounds of I have 2 more rounds of increases. I need to count you how many rows I have left. I just finished row 25 out of 31. So we have 6 rows left. But the 2 last rows are barely rows because they're a row of single crochet and a row of slip stitches. Then somehow they got my card number, maybe from the phone. Thankfully, each transaction has the address, so I'll investigate. Yeah. My my credit card company actually sent me an email. It's about a year ago saying that my details had apparently been leaked, and they sent me a new card to prevent things like this happened. So that was pretty nice actually. So I really appreciate that service. And they never had any weird amounts leaving that account. Susan says I'll never use a debit card. Sarah, old man's company is slowly growing and works for his uncle's company. Yeah. I don't know where you are, Sarah, but most banks in North America have insurance for that and can get your money back. Well, they should have to some extent at least. Hello, Ashley. Wonderful to see you. Come in and hang out. Sarah says I'm going to start turning it off when I don't need it. Good idea. Actually, I'm really sad about how the days these days are. Like, I like the need of being able to use cash, but there's so many places now where cash is less available to be used. So now I need to do 10 and then 2. So I need to count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then the 11th stitch I increase. Oh, goodness. So now we'll just do a bunch of stitch markers again. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and increase. Since I had a row of not increasing, I need to count because else I need to look a bit better for figuring out when. 2, 6, 8, 10. So I just think it's easier like this. But this is my second last row of increases, so it's not too bad. 2, 6, 8, 10. And I don't care about the color. Normally I would be really psyched about the color, but 8, 10. But since it's such a short project, it's not too bad. 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. One more, I think. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah. Then after that, the last like 4, 6 is just single half doubles. Easy. I can stuff these away again. Okay. Suggestion, Sarah. Make sure you have your books backed up either on paper or air grabbed. We got it within recent random attack a few years ago. Luckily, we air grabbed and told them to stick it. Yeah, good plan. Sarah filed a claim, and it sounds like you'll get it back. I hope so. Many years ago. This is like 20 years ago, maybe. We were out Christmas shopping, and somebody had peeked over the shoulder when my mom had made a purchase, and when we had to leave the store, somebody was like trying to go the wrong way into the store, and they nicked her wallet and they started emptying the account. And luckily, well, the scary part was obviously that they had, in the end, probably gotten away with about $3,000, but with the self risk and insurance and everything, she ended up losing like 200. The rest was refunded. But it gets you really, yeah, it's really not a very nice experience when people get so close on you and succeed by basically robbing you, right? Before you know it. And it makes me so upset there are people that needs to make a living like that. Why I picked red, white, and blue? It's Dutch. So it's the Dutch flag. Like when I'm holding like this, it's a Dutch flag because it's striped. That is the idea of red, white, and blue. It's becoming the Dutch flag when I'm done. And since bucket hats are getting increasingly more popular, and it is King's Day here in the Netherlands in about 2.5 weeks, there are likely people who want to get them. So my idea was, it was a great idea. I also want to make it with orange here and here, and then this just the stripes here in the middle change colors to make those the orange flag or the Dutch flag. Correct. Figured they were representing the Dutch flag colors. Yeah. I also tried to kind of be creative on that with my with the title of this live. But yeah, all the idea is that it's Dutch inspired. And it would be nice if I could sell it and actually turn a profit. Because I don't feel the need to be parading the Dutch flag, even though that I actually have dual citizenship. I guess I'm bottom down, probably feeling more Danish than I'm feeling Dutch. Atma says a few years ago, my hubby got his card scanned when we were traveling, and now all of our cards are in RFID sleeves when we travel. Yeah, I definitely understand that. We just recently bought a new wallet for my partner, and that also had FRID protection as well. But yeah, so it really annoys me and upsets me that there are people that needs to be doing not honorable jobs to make a living. You know, like go get a real job or do something else. Like don't steal or scam or do anything to benefit from other people's hard work. That's not fair. De Nederlandse vlag. Correct. Yeah, I travel a lot. I generally do travel a lot. It's kind of scary, actually. I used to travel a lot, so it's I guess for me it's just getting back into travels. I'm looking at flight tickets and so on these days, and I'm gonna be sorry for my environmental output on the CO2 emissions, but sorry, it is cheaper for me to fly. Well, it's probably the same as it would cost to take the train, but the train is double the time, so why on earth would I take the train? So I will fly. It's just more convenient. I will have to take the train some of the time because in Denmark I am more likely to needing to take the train than to being picked up at the airport due to my mom feeling unwell and my dad would not be advised to drive to the airport alone. That would somehow just go wrong, I feel. I think it's good to get all those wallets with protection regardless. Because the scamming and skimming can happen at all sorts of locations, not just at touristic areas, right? No, it could happen at your local grocery store without you realizing. The police told us that the skimmer devices only require them to be within 2 feet from you. Yeah. makes it worse. But still, that people, because these people, they make their living on ripping you off from your hard work, which I think is, oh, it makes me so upset. And they look like cell phones. You would never know what they're doing. Yeah, so you would just basically think that they are on their phone texting a friend or whatever, but they're actually just in the process of ripping you off. We also have a lot of regular post mail scams these days here, where they will send you postal mail about having to get new cards, and therefore you need to mail your old card back and so on. Or they call you, they pretend to be the bank and say there is a security issue, and they will send an employee uh, to help you secure your money. And meanwhile, they will like get you uh, to do certain things like transferring money out of your bank accounts to their bank accounts and so on for security. But you're never going to see those money again, because since you personally activated the transfer, um, you did it be known, and it can barely be traced. Like the amount of type people scam and skim and phishing, and they get more and more clever every time. Such a scary thing. You get phone calls too. You always tell them that you call them back from the number back on my card. Good plan. Good for you. Good for you. Susan recommends not to answer any phone calls from strangers. You know, another thing we've seen lately is you receive a message saying, like, hey mom, or hey dad, I lost my phone and this is my new number, blah, blah, blah. And then eventually they will ask you for money on a specific account because they suddenly got into trouble. That is also one thing that's been a thing lately. It's 10 minutes past 4. Time is really flying today. And don't forget to take something to drink in between. I do recommend you to keep hydrated. Mom wasn't feeling too good today, so she went to get a couple of blood tests done. And they told her it was just standard feeling shit after having chemotherapy. Plus, she needed to remind herself to drink some more. So therefore, I'm now also helping everybody, especially if she's also watching, but it could also be she's sleeping. Don't forget to drink. Strange text too. in the States it's called grandma scam, and the same in Canada. Yeah, here it's like called the parenting one, but I guess it's the same concept. Oh, don't split on me, yarn. I think, just be mindful of all sort of possible scams. We should just all be mindful. And there's nothing wrong in reminding us that there are cruel people out there wanting your money. We might actually be able to do this. And we need to slip stitch, chain one, and if I am right, this should be a full row of half doubles. It is, so that is what we'll do. Stina, see if you can find her some guava juice. It sounds weird, but it really helps the chemo sickness. She's not a big juice drinker, but it is definitely worth a try. I don't know if she heard that, but I will forward it to her. She's not a big juice drinker, but if it helps the sickness, she might actually be open for doing or trying it. Worst case, I'll take the rest. But I don't even know if they have it at the local store, so we'll have to check that. Who would have thought? Mom wasn't a juice drinker either, but she said it helped more than even her prescriptions for anti-nauseous. Okay. Well, I will definitely forward it. And then, the worst thing that can happen is that she doesn't like it and it's not worth it. Or if she likes it, or it doesn't like it, but it's helping, then I guess it's better than nothing. Sometimes we do, for many years, I've literally had like a small fear of the dentist because I had a period when I was a child. I had a dentist that really wanted to just find something every time intentionally. And it's taken me a long time to get past, and I still don't enjoy going to the dentist, but I do it because I know it benefits me longer run. So I still go to my regular appointments, nothing wrong there. I brush my teeth and all that stuff, but I really don't enjoy the dentists. And when I was a child, I really loved going there. But when I was a teenager, I changed dentist, and that dentist was really like intentionally finding things to do. And I wonder if that dentist got paid for the amount of things they did rather than just an hourly salary or whatever it was, if they had some sort of commission, because it felt really weird. Um, do, do, do. Oh no, I don't need all these yet. Next round is the last round of increase. And as I said, we are gonna cut it close if we are able to make this or finish this one on time. But in the event we aren't gonna finish it, then I've taken the liberty to, I will take the liberty to finish it off stream. dinner today is going to be like an omelette, and then we'll do some spring rolls also, like Vietnamese spring rolls. On the side, we usually it's just like a quick, simple meal. Reminds me I need to empty the dishwasher as well. But that's coming automatically because I need those pans in the dishwasher for making my dinner. You're halfway through this row of it's just a half double crochet in each stitch, so it is a very simple yarn split. It should be very simple. It's less simple when the yarn decides to split for a single stitch, but right now I am doing this with a 4mm crochet hook. Pattern does say 3.25, which I do have accessible, but trust me, when I try to do that, oh my goodness, yarn is split further back too. I don't like that. Let's fix it. Well, Artbill says her dinner is going to be braised beef, short ribs, mashed potatoes, gravy, roasted parmesan, Brussels sprouts. Everything sounds kind of nice, actually, except for, as I said last time, I'm not a big Brussels sprouts eater. But that might be because I just had them prepared in the wrong way all my life. Not impossible reasoning. I'm generally not making the most fancy meals on weekdays. I like to, if I'm to do that, I'd like to have more time to do it. Which I technically do, but not definitely not on day when I'm live streaming. I don't think I'll have much yarn left when I'm done here. Should I weigh it? I feel I almost should, but not sure. Because we have still one more round of increase, and then we'll have a round of half doubles and the single crochets, and we have like 4 rows left. Oh, I'll be so sad. Of course, if I can't do the full row of slip stitches, it could be like there could be other things that could be worse for not to be finished. Will probably survive, but I may have to weigh the yarn at some stage. I think my weigh scale is not next to me right now. That wasn't clever either. For me, that's an easy dinner. Stick them in the oven and let them roast all afternoon. Valid. But if I let anything roast in the oven all afternoon, you will be able to hear it because my oven is literally that direction, meter and a half away from me. If I should do that, I should do something in the slow cooker. Haven't used that for a bit, so I actually should stuff that one off. Put something in the crock pot. But my partner doesn't like when the veggies has been in the crock pot, only the meat. So what I really should do is probably grab that weight scale just to see how much we have left, because that's definitely less than half. But how much less than half? I need to do a little bit of crocheting math to ensure that I have enough yarn to finish this. I'd be absolutely fine if it finishes off the skein exactly on the dot. That would be amazing. But I feel I need a weight scale just to make sure. I could do these in the slow cooker. It would be the same idea with the same effect. Not a bad idea. I did see they had spare ribs on sale. We tend to go to like the wholesale for certain things, including like spare ribs. And so I get my own neutral spare ribs from the wholesale and put them in the freezer. Like we buy literally like 10 pounds of ribs, and then we do a year and so whatever, I don't know, to eat them. And they're actually on sale, but ideally I wanted to defrost my freezer first before I bought them, but it could be that I just need to buy them or wait on them for going on sale another time. It's starting to look really nice. I am though just quickly going to grab my weight scale because I think I will definitely need that. And if we do like this, just shortly pop over here. And I'll just quickly pick my weight scale. It's literally just a meter that direction, so it's not too bad. 2 meters maybe. You can still hear me, I'm sure. Ta-ta! Kitchen scale. Spare ribs are different. Yeah, but I do them in the crock pot too, actually. They can go in the crock pot absolutely just fine. And quite successfully. Let's see how much yarn is left. Right now it says zeros. I'm weighing in grams. It was a 50-gram ball. And I have 18 left. That's about 2/3 here. And I need 4 more rows, which is like this. I have an increase, but 2 of the rows are single crochets and slip stitches, which is a lot less than 2 full rows of this. So I have enough yarn. It's my quick conclusion. Awesome. So what I do need to do is to increase, and I do believe, because this was row 27 that I just finished, and we need now a row of increase, which is 11, and then in the 12th we increase. Got 4 more rows, 35 minutes. Optimistic. 2, 6, 8, 10, 11, and the increase. But 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. I'm pretty impressed with the fact that I calculated exactly enough yarn for this. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. I feel I've done a good job. 6, 8, 10, 11. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. If I'm happy with the brim with the smaller hook, yeah, a little bit, because it does make it a little bit more stiff, so you can do a little bit more adjustable if you want to. I think it looks nicer, personally. So yeah, and the pattern also calls for the smaller hook. I just forgot last time, and it still looks good, but this is just a little bit more, yeah. 6, 8, 10, 11. One more left. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. The last couple of increases of this hat. And then the rest is just a merry-go-round, so to say. So yeah, I am pretty happy with how it's turning out with the slightly smaller hook, because the brim is just yeah, it's just slightly more positionable as to how you want it. A little bit stiffer, so a little bit sturdier, if that makes sense. So we have an increase stitch. Yeah. And I like the pattern actually. It's simple, straightforward. I like how it's different on the sides and so on. I'd say this is definitely turning out in a good way. Also, here in Europe, they're quite crazy with soccer or English football. And the Dutch are very much fans too. So this could also be a great football hat if you like go to the stadium to watch the national team play. And I know I could do the exact same for like Germany, because also the colors are aligned in rows like this. I get all in the mood. I just did them there. Good. So I'm all in the mood to like all sorts of national bucket hats. In Canada, people go nuts for bucket hats. For hockey. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they go nuts for hockey. Of course, ice hockey. Yes. Sounds like Finland is also a bit ice hockey people. I don't know why it's soccer. In Denmark, we are handball fans and soccer or football. I'd like to say football, but it's not American football, it's English football, which is soccer for the US. I don't know why though. But I generally just like watching sports. Like Olympic cycles and Olympics is just amazing because I can watch all types of sports. Everything from artistic gymnastics to athletics. You name it. Makes me all in a good mood. And I did get perfect colors also for making this orange sort of inspired hat as well, which is definitely probably one of the next ones. But I have like a granny square kind of bucket hat that I also want to make in some different colors, which I may option to do first. But probably there's a few other things I need to have a look at first. We don't have that many increases left. And I'm just cracking on because I really genuinely want to finish this. Maybe we have some ends that I need to reach to weave in. But it could also be that I'm just quicker than I think, which is not impossible either. The good thing here is that it's the last row of increase, so anything from here on out will be somewhat quicker in the sense of I don't need to do any counting. But every row has been increased, like this row has been increased by another 10 stitches, so obviously there are 10 more stitches I need to go through. More importantly, I calculated I had enough yarn, because I was at some stage doubting a bit. The third last increase. Then we'll see how much yarn I have left. My estimate is going to be like 5 grams, or very close to that. second last. My son's girlfriend wants me to make her a bucket hat. I need to search patterns. I like this one. But it also depends, like if she's wanting a granny square style or is she wanting a more solid. This is a more solid. It's not like that granny square. So the question is also a bit, you need to figure out what style of bucket hat she wants, because there are options, right? And I know that I have a granny square style alike pattern, which is kind of a combination of both. Sarah, there is lots one on YouTube, but it depends on yarn weight. I have a 2, 3, and 4 weight cotton I could use. Oh, so you should be pretty safe on the cotton aspect then. Plus, if you make a bucket hat, use up some yarn so you actually have an excuse to buy new yarn, or because you now have room again to buy more yarn, I guess. Does that count like that? It's kind of how I'd love to do it. Like, I use up yarn and I'll buy yarn. But I like the Sirdar bucket hat pattern, but it's all single crochet. Single crochet takes forever. This is half double. And I still estimate this is like 5.5, probably like a 6-hour pattern. 5.5. Like if I didn't stream, I could maybe do it in 5.5 hours, I think. Because it's all half double, but if it's like granny square styled, it's quicker to do because you will usually do those in double crochets. Good plan. Sarah says she'll scroll through YouTube with her to see what she likes. I think that is a really good plan. I told myself I have to use 2 balls to be able to buy 1 ball, but I lied. I told myself I need to use up some of all this yarn before I'm allowed to buy new yarn. Unless I'm commissioned for something and it's with yarn I don't have in my stash. Then I'm excused. So let's see how long this takes. It is 16:40 here, so 4:40 p.m. And I need to do this full row of half doubles, and then I need to do a row of singles and a row of slip stitches, and then even ends. Hallelujah. Who would have thought? Granny bucket hats are good for full weight yarns. Yeah. But yeah, so I got like, how many balls of yarn was that? 58 or something like that with that yarn haul. Obviously that is quite a bit of yarn to get used. But if I really put my mind to it, I could probably use it up in a month. If I only worked on that and didn't do anything else. Well, I got commissioned to make that bridal shawl. I had to order yarn, so I had to make the shipping worthwhile. I agree. I agree. And commissions are okay. They are approved for getting stuff. The pattern for this bucket hat is called the Gabby bucket hat. I have a link to the Ravelry pattern in the description box down below. It's by Deanie Made. You can get it on Ravelry. It is a paid pattern though. But I think it's nicely written. So it's good, well written and good to understand, and it is US terms. And here you do like hobby. It's written for hobby 88, which is very similar here again to the Paris from Drops. You could probably also, depending on tension, use something along peaches and cream, and similar yarns. Sugar and cream, peaches and cream. I could imagine might work for the pattern too. But I would, in that case, check tension, and in the beginning you can swatch it because you need to measure the brim for the exact sizing. Do that. Oh yeah, I like the granny square idea, all of the colors. I told myself 4 times since Friday I wasn't going to get any more yarn for a while, and I asked 4 times, I lied. Yeah. I only got this order because I had to get the yarn for the bucket hat I made for my mom. That is a fact. But because I want to make the shipping worthwhile, I got myself some yarn too for things that I have a good feeling will sell. So that is what I did. We are just a bunch of liars here. And yes, at least we admit it. True, true. Well, my goal is to decrease my stash, but I didn't give myself a yarn buy ban. I am trying to shop my stash for most of the projects, and some of this stuff is something I bought for a while ago, so obviously that is a slow decrease, but it is a progress made for the decrease of the actual yarn stash. We are getting closer. But as I said, I'm not 100% sure if I'll make it. I'll try my best. We are about a bit more than halfway, 5 minutes, maybe. But that's not going to be with sewing in ends, though, in that case. It's going to be a close call. Because half double crochets does take a little bit longer to do than single crochets, obviously. Art Balls is not on a ban, just a failing yarn diet. Yeah, I'm on a yarn diet too, and if you look on the numbers for the year, I have failed. But the year hasn't passed yet, so there's a chance I will win. And I have succeeded if I have decreased my stash negatively in one of the following. I'm measuring my yarn consumption in multiple factors. I'm measuring them in amount of balls, skeins, cakes, etc. So if it's a ball or a skein or a cake, it's just one, right? Of course, if I use up a bunch of small balls, it goes a bit quicker than if I just use up cakes. But that is one way to measure it. Then I'm measuring it in weight, either kilos or ounces, and I'm measuring it in length. So overall, obviously, I need to decrease, preferably, I think, in weight, because that would maybe indicate an actual physical decrease, because obviously one cake can't take up more room than, for example, a couple of balls of something that might weigh more. So, or less space. It's difficult. So, Sarah says she financially needs to be on a yarn ban. Well, I also financially needed that, especially because last year when I slowly started my yarn diet, and in the start of the year, I had no job. So there are two reasons for me being on this, right? It's a financial reason, but also it's a physical reason. I don't have physical room for it. And I'm not gonna buy a storage unit to be able to store yarn. That's just not gonna happen. If it can't be in my home, I shouldn't buy it. And I can't buy it just to have it stacked up, so I need to sit between boxes because I refuse to be more of a hoarder than I already am. I will have room for more if I sell some of my makes. There is something to that. So that is where the web shop comes into place. But have I had time to go through the rest of it right now? No, because I need to set up shipping regions. I need to test up a few more things. I need to write some information. I need to take some product photos. Oh, there's so many things when it comes to that. But I've been a little bit more busy getting my, I'm really in doubt when I look at the yarn here. I'm in doubt if I can make it through. Goodness gracious. I am gonna measure my yarn, weigh my yarn when I've done this row before I start the row of single crochets, because in worst case, I will not do that. So we agree that a row of single crochets takes more yarn than a row of slip stitches. So what I'll do is I'll measure the yarn before I start on my row of single crochets. And if I have more than half left, I definitely also have enough, or just about half left. I also have enough to complete the single, to complete the slip stitches. But since I'm not 100% sure, I am just gonna use that weight scale because it does look like there's not much here. There's very little, to be honest. The good thing is that means, likely, at the end of this, I have finished up another skein of consumption, which is awesome. That makes me happy. Artball should be on ban. She needs to save money for the new house. Yep. We all have our reasons, but that's the crafting heart of us that goes insane when we get options. Options and opportunities. There's also a reseller here in the Netherlands that has some absolutely gorgeous yarn there. I'm like, I want to get that. But I haven't. I actually haven't made an order with her shop for a year. So what I said is now we completed this row. I do need a slip stitch into the first stitch of the previous row, but I need to weigh that yarn because I am brilliant out. I had 18 grams just before. I have the feeling I have less than 10. It's 6. 5. 6, 5. I am not convinced that I'll have enough for both single crochets and slip stitches. I might just have enough for the single crochets. Crickets. Stina, have you been to Helendorn Park? No, I actually haven't been to Helendorn. I haven't. Another option is that I just slip stitch all the way around here with this. That feels safer. Let's see how it looks. What do you think? Definitely Dutch inspired. Definitely. Neckline. Not bad. Not bad. 6 grams. Which means it took 12 grams to do 2 rows of half double. I will not have enough for a single crochet and slip stitch, I think. Do you? So the real question is, I have enough to do either a row of single crochets or a row of slip stitches. What should I do? What should I do? Slip stitches or single crochets? I should have enough for both. Oddball says slip stitch and be safe. Yeah, I probably should. Play it safe. Looks good though. I like it. But yeah, slip stitching and be safe, that seems like the straightforward. Nobody else said anything. I had the chance. Ta-da! I'll admit, at the beginning when I made this, I was not sure if it would be, if it would actually be gonna look nice. But I think it will. And I also think I have more than enough to. We'll see when I'm done how much yarn this takes. Feels a bit like skipping the last row of single crochets. But I honestly thought I had a little bit more yarn left. I had not expecting 2 of those rows to take 12 grams of those. And then I think I'll be cutting it short halfway through the slip stitches if I would do a row of single crochets and a row of slip stitches. So yeah, it's getting tiny bit shorter, but not too short. It's just a single crochet row short. Hello, Ashley. Welcome back. I am. The benefit, of course, of doing those slip stitches is that I will definitely finish this hat today. And looking at how quickly this is going, yeah, I think it's safe. It's safe. Patterns are just a guide. I change them up all the time. Valid, valid. Oddball says hi to you, Ashley. I also change patterns up. Definitely. In this case, it feels pretty safe to slip stitch it around. I think I'd also had enough for a row of single crochets, but the slip stitch brim does make it nice. It does make a nice edge. You're watching me on the TV? Then I'm blown all up. I hope you don't have a big, big, big screen. Well, it could be. Then you'll easier see all the nicks and knacks. think my mom also sometimes watches me on the TV and sometimes it's on the tablet. Kind of depends on the mood and if my dad is home. Um, there's a beautiful thought at that theme park, worldwide YouTuber estate in the Netherlands. Yeah, there are plenty of gorgeous resorts. We also have like a fairy tale resort called Efteling. It's a little bit like if you would go to Disneyland, it's just not Disney. And the crazy thing is, a friend of mine told me because they're going to Disneyland later this year to celebrate um, her in-laws being married for so many years, and the prices now at Disneyland is cheaper than going to Efteling in the Netherlands, which is fumbles my mind. Oddball's always watching the TV and then on the iPad for the chat. Yeah, it's not easy to chat on the TV if you're watching on the TV. That's for sure. That is for sure. And I very much appreciate you ladies for chatting with me because else it's just about me figuring out what I have to ramble on about for, I don't know, 3 hours. So very much appreciate you ladies chatting with me because I get questions and we find topics and yeah, the interaction definitely is a positive thing for me. And it is a bit like, if we were sitting at a craft cafe someplace downtown. Landgoed de Schelenberg by Top Park and gorgeous and inexpensive resort. Okay. Yeah, that could be too. I have to say I've not done many resorts the last couple of years. Basically, I haven't really been to one since for COVID. Partially also due to, I guess, getting older. So the thing is, if I have like 3 grams left, getting to the end here, then I think we definitely did the good thing. Because if I have 3 grams or less left of the yarn, I would definitely not have lasted both of them. I was so optimistic I would have had enough, but those 2 rows really did put a dent into the yarn. Looking what I see here, I could definitely not have done both a row of single crochets and slip stitches. Like, I have no doubt that would not have happened. Oh, when I was at Michael's last week, I had a coupon and bought myself a set of Clover and Moorhawks. Oh, nice! I actually don't have Clover and Moorhawks. These are Clover's Soft Touch, which I really enjoy how well the yarn just smoothes over. But I probably should put them on my wish list. Take a nice short holiday. I could use one, but I'm about to start a new job and I do travel quite a bit in connection with my parents. And my partner and I also talked about wanting to go to Croatia this summer as well, or more like this autumn on vacation. But I will first have to see how my mom goes through chemotherapy, her last treatment. If everything goes well, it should be on 2nd of September. And it's also towards then that we are looking at the vacation. So I will have to see how my mom does. So it's gonna be like last minute. We'll see what happens. Resort is in Lunton. Okay. Susan also loves the Clover No More hooks. I've heard many positive things about them. I definitely have. We are almost as good as to the end here. Oh my goodness. Don't split on me, yarn. Be nice. Then we need to do the fancy shizzle here towards the end. Now, this is what I have left. The real question is this a used skein or is it just a yarn scrap? Like, can I classify it as a completely used skein? Let's see how much is left. There are 50 grams, and now it is 3 grams. I would say that's pretty used to me. Would you approve this as used? I have like 5% left of the skein. I wonder how much I have left of the white just to compare. The white is 9, which I don't consider used. The red is 22, which is just a bit more, less than half, bit less than half. Can you do 1 row reverse single crochet? No, I can't. It's slip stitched around, so that's not gonna work, I think. I also see time tells me that we have to end this. So it's all slip stitched around. So do single crochets, and this is gonna be really not good. And I won't get I might get another row of at best slip stitches, but that's it. That's it. And I don't have any more blue in my stash. This is it. It's done. It's dead. So I'm accepting our completion. And we'll add this to my scrap. My 4-week scrap. And I am finished. I am. Tally-ho. Ta-ta-ta. I am finished. I just need to weave an ends. But if we look away from the ends, actually what we should do is I should get my camera back up. Ta-ta-ta-ta. Because it's just such better camera view than the one on my laptop. We are done. Look away from the ends needing to be woven in, but I think we are good as done. And it's a nice fit, so it fits like a medium-sized set. I should be able to fit it. Might be a little bit snugger on me, but I'm good. I'm happy. We finished. Very much on the limits here, right? So yeah, I like it, and it's definitely Dutch-minded because we have the red on top. What could have been is, because it's sitting like how it is maybe one could consider making 1 more row on top here red, so it would be more clear. But what I'm also considering is I have, and I did make that order, some orange for the brim on the top, and then all the rows in here I'll make the Dutch colors, because orange, it's the royal house here is the house of orange. And then I would make these stripes like red, white, blue. But that is for a future project. This one I'm pretty pleased with how it is. Absolutely a Dutch hat. I do need to weave an ends. I am going to do that off camera. But but I promise to have them woven in for before the yarn talk video. Then you can see it by then, and I shall then by that yarn talk video be very nice and polite and not have my hair set up. Right now it is set up, so it's not gonna be very friendly for a hat. I'm gonna do that, and I'll test it up nicely for the yarn talk. And one more skein done. Yay! That means that I have another skein finished for April. The skein of a blue. What am I gonna do? I am going to say thank you so much for hanging out with me, because it is 7 minutes past 5 p.m. here in the afternoon, and that means I have to get going because I have to prepare for dinner. Susan, yeah, I'm having a scrap stash with 8/8 cotton, which is about this thickness, and they all go into that scrap pile. And if I make hats or if I make washcloths or whatever I make from them, I don't know, but I'll have a scrap pile where this goes into. It could also be that I just make a scrap basket or something like that, like double them up or something like that. It's undecided, but I'm not throwing it out. It's just going into my scrap cotton basket, basically. Yes, so this is pretty much the end. We finished up this lovely fella, which I'm going to weave in ends for before next yarn talk video. I'm going to be back Friday with the yarn talk video. Monday I'll have some other fun video for you guys, because Monday I will start a new job. I will not be live. I should be live next week Wednesday. Need to figure out what we'll do on Wednesday, but I have a week to do so. So that means I'm going to pretty much going to say take care and happy crafting until see you again. And it was such a pleasure spending my afternoon with you guys. And if you are rewatching this live, thank you so much for doing so. It means a lot to me. Bye, and until next time.